Are you thinking about moving to Las Vegas and wondering what the process is like? Today, we're going to go over every step that you need to know.
Hey everyone, I'm Christina.
And I'm Kristen.
And we are the Thomas Group with Real Broker, your local Las Vegas and Henderson realtors.
So you may or may not have seen the video that we already made that was all about like a grand overview of what you need to know before moving to Las Vegas. Now we're going to deep dive into what the process of taking those first steps actually looks like. If you are thinking about moving to the Las Vegas area, please keep in mind that we offer free consultations. Myself and Christina would absolutely love to help you, and you can find all of our contact information here on the screen.
Okay, so now let's talk about the process. What happens first when you're looking to buy a home in Las Vegas? What are the first steps? Okay, so the first thing is obviously you want to have that consultation with us and figure out exactly what it is that you're looking for. Also, if you are planning to finance, that's going to be the first thing that you're going to do is speak with a lender so we can find out the details, exactly what your budget is, what price point you want to be sticking with, and we can go from there.
Yeah, and we have a lot of really creative lenders that we work with. I think that don't be fooled if you applied on the quickenloans.com and they said that you couldn't get a loan. We have some really great options for you.
Definitely.
Speaking
of that,
yeah,
we have a lot of, I get a lot of times questions on local lenders. I know you mentioned Quicken Loans, so making sure why is it that we want or that you would want to use a local lender as opposed to like a Chase Bank or something.
Yeah,
like that.
and we're telling you that because we've been through it. Trust me, when you've got a big bank or like a big company like Quicken Loans, you're not just working with one person, you're being passed around. I'm telling you, they always go over that they make you extend your escrow. Sellers aren't always willing to extend escrow. You can't get a hold of them. When they're local lenders, one, they understand the market, they know what they're financing.
Mm-hmm.
The appraisers are local.
Yes.
We've had problems, right? You had appraisers that were from the area, right?
They didn't even come and look. Yeah, they did a desk appraisal on the property, and
yeah. And then also, if something starts going wrong, we know where to find them.
Yeah,
like I'm telling you, there's nothing
knock on their door
worse. Yeah, than like with Chase or Quicken when we had a question, and we've called, emailed 20 times and nobody gets back to you. Like that is the most frustrating thing.
Yeah,
communication is key. But also these guys can beat your quote that you've gotten from the big banks too. So there's a reason why we recommend them. It's not like for our personal gain, it's for everyone's peace of mind.
Yeah.
So I know Christina mentioned the free consultation, and something that I kind of wanted to add into that as well, because I know a lot of you are looking at moving here, obviously from like outside of the state too. You might not be very familiar with the area. So we have a bunch of driving tours on our website. We have one for Summerlin, Henderson, the Southwest, so that you can take those driving tours out, see the important areas and really get a feel for the area to help you narrow it down.
Exactly. Not just staying on the strip, which is what a lot of people want to do because you're here to look for a house, but also, to be on vacation, which is great. Do that as well. We've got all of that, but also just to rent the car and take the time to explore a little bit more.
Right, exactly. So let's talk a little bit about how long the process takes. When should you start looking? Well, we're happy to have that, initial consultation as soon as you have the thought in your head that you might be thinking of moving here. Whether whether you're coming into the office when, you are in town on that next vacation, or we can do it via Zoom. And that way we can really get an idea for everything, start narrowing things down. But when do you think people should start getting like really serious about shopping if they wanted to move, say in 3 months?
I mean, if they're wanting to move in 3 months, start looking, because you're not necessarily going to find it right off the bat. You may, that's happened. That's definitely happened. But also that it could take a couple of months before you find that exact perfect property for you. And the market, it's not as crazy as it was a couple of years ago, where as soon as you see something, you have to put in an offer in within 5 minutes, you know. It's a little bit, you have a little bit more time now to take your time and look around a little bit and breathe.
Right. But we have very, very low inventory. We have almost as little inventory as we did back then.
True.
Just maybe a little bit less demand because of the high interest rates. So we'll set you up on that MLS search. You're obviously welcome to continue to browse Zillow and Redfin and whatever you're doing, because it's good. The more you're looking around, you're getting to know things. Then when we actually go out and start looking, you've seen it, you know, like, hey, this is amazing value. Like, let's jump on it.
Okay. A lot of people also ask me the next step, then how do I show that I can afford this property? Obviously, like we discussed already, talking to a lender will need to have that pre-approval letter from the lender if you're going to be financing. And we do need that in order to start to really
Actually show home.
go look at the homes. Exactly. Or if you're paying cash, we need to have the proof of funds. And those are required by the listing agent, by the seller, to be able to go into the home and to be able to view it, because they don't want just random people walking through their home, especially once they get into the pricier, like $1 million
Especially
plus.
$1 million plus. And I've had some clients be weird about that, but
Same.
like, think about it. Have you ever sold a home? First of all, it's a lot of work to get your home ready for every showing. And again, you've got nice things in your home, and you don't want just people coming through
That just want to see a beautiful home.
Yeah.
You know, that
So don't
really,
take it don't
be offended.
Don't take offense to it. And this can either be, honestly, a lot of our clients just take a screenshot of their bank account. But if you don't want to share that, your banker can write a letter with proof of funds to us. All right, so now you're ready to shop. What does that process look like, especially because most of you are moving from out of state? We do this 2 ways. So one might be that, or maybe a combination, I would say. One might be that, you come into town for a few days. We go out, like, looking at a ton of properties, maybe over 3 days, identify what we want to write our offer on, and go that route. Another route that we do, obviously, we are very big into video. So for a lot of our clients, we do video tours. We tour the property, we upload it onto YouTube, unlisted, so that we just send you the link so that you can see it. And then you can take a look that way, decide, maybe you want to come into town or get an offer in. And then, although the market has slowed down, what we do encourage a lot of our clients to do if we are shopping like virtually, is if you see something that you really like, write your offer, get it accepted, because we have a 10-day due diligence period here. So you can fly in within those 10 days, earlier the better, obviously, but you can fly in and see it in person. And while you've got those 10 days, if you get into town, you say, I hate it, fine, we can back out, get your deposit back.
Foul, and you get your deposit back.
So speaking of that, backing out, what if you change your mind and want to back out?
Yeah, so you've got a couple of options. There's actually, as the buyer, you have a lot more leeway. You have a lot more out. Yeah,
once you have that contract with the seller, you're selling it.
You're selling it, yeah. And then we have the appraisal contingency. So if the appraisal comes in low, you have that time to renegotiate the price at that point. And if they don't want to come down, then you can back out at that point and get your deposit back. And then you also have your loan contingency. If anything happens, if you lose your job or, something like that
happens. You can't qualify for the loan anymore.
Yeah.
You can back out. Your letter will normally write a letter. You can get your money back. And there's the final one, the tricky one, the HOA, the CC&Rs. This one, a good listing agent and seller will order those CC&Rs, the rules and regulations right away. But a lot of sellers don't want to do that because they have to pay for them. So you normally get those closer to the end of the escrow period. And you have 5 days once you receive those rules and regulations to read them and back out. And that's our job, is to keep track of all of those contingencies for you.
Okay, another thing I have people ask me all the time is, how do I know what this property is worth? People can list their property for anything. And if you have a good agent to list it for you, they're not going to list it for something ridiculous, because nobody's gonna
see it, and all they're gonna do is come back to you in 2 weeks and ask for a price reduction. And all it's doing is hurting you.
Exactly. And then it sits on the market for a long time, which is not helpful. The first thing that we will do is we will run comps, and people are always like, what is that?
We use the realtor lingo of comps, but that means that we're looking at comparable properties. And we look, the closer to your neighborhood, the better. We have to look for like. And I think this confuses a lot of people. And this is one reason why, and I know we're going to get into this, your estimate is not actually really as good as when an agent runs comps, because Zillow is pulling like the general price per square foot, whatever, for different areas. But say like you're buying in a 55 plus community, or you're buying a golf course frontage house, or you're looking at a single story or a 2-story, you cannot use the comps. You cannot compare any of those to help you determine value. We have to really stay focused on like for like. And I've taken classes from appraisers too. And I just want to point out, because I know people get really caught up in price per square foot, but straight from the appraiser's mouth, you can't just say that you have like a 500 square foot difference in a property. You can't just take the price per square foot, multiply it by 500, and then add that to the price of the smaller home. The appraiser actually values that difference at about 30%. So I think that is helpful for a lot of people to know, but that's going into a lot. Don't you worry about that. That's our job, and we're experienced in comping. So we're going to make sure that you're not overpaying.
Okay, so you found the perfect property and you're ready to put in an offer. So how does that work? So the first thing that we will do is we're going to reach out to the listing agent and find out the things that are most important to the seller. And then we will run those comps like we were talking about, and we're going to recommend to you we can advise you on what the best offer price is. At the end of the day, of course, you're the boss. So honestly, I tell this to my clients all the time, like, what is this property worth to you, especially if it's multiple offer situation?
Yeah, that's really important. I think it's important that we find out what your like end limit is, end goal, so we can help structure our offer.
How we start.
Yeah, and there's so many things. Like you said, if there's multiple offers, that the property has been listed for a long time, we'll take care of you.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. I hope this was helpful and that you learned a lot about the whole process of purchasing a house here in Las Vegas.
All right, and if you would like to schedule a free consultation with us, you can find all of our information here on the screen. We would absolutely love to help you guys. If you call our phone number, I'm extension 2 for Kristen.
And I'm extension 4 for Christina.
All right, thank you so much for watching. We look forward to hearing from you soon.